All right, let's get right into it. When you think about cybersecurity today, it's really the tale of two ideas. Two really different, but absolutely crucial ideas. You've got compliance on one side, that's all the rules and the checkboxes, and on the other, you have awareness, that's the human side of things. Nailing the balance between these two, well, that's the whole game.
And to really get why this is so important, let's just start with a number, 95%. Just let that sit there for a second. What on earth could be that common when we're talking about cyber attacks?
And there it is, 95%. That's how many data breaches have a human mistake somewhere in the mix. You know, a clicked link that shouldn't have been clicked, a password that's way too simple, just a moment of not paying attention. It tells you something huge right away. The best tech in the world isn't our only vulnerability. A lot of the time, the real weak spot, it's us.
And hey, if you're thinking, well, if we just follow all the rules, we'll be fine, I want you to think about Target. They were, on paper, fully compliant. They had checked every single box. But that didn't stop one of the biggest, most notorious breaches of the last decade. It's the perfect example of why just having strong walls isn't enough.
So, let's dig into that first pillar. If we imagine our security as a fortress, then compliance is all about building the walls. It's the structure, it's the foundation, it's the non-negotiable set of rules. Basically, what we're talking about here is just following the rules. And not your own rules, but a specific set of standards that are mandated by governments or industry groups. They're designed to create a baseline, a minimum level of security to keep data and systems safe. This is the stuff you absolutely have to do. And I bet you've heard of at least some of these, right? You've got GDPR in Europe protecting data privacy, HIPAA for all things healthcare in the US, PCI-DSS for literally anyone who handles a credit card, and then you have global standards like ISO. These are the actual blueprints for the walls of our fortress.
So, the main takeaway for compliance is this. It tells you what to do. It sets the rules. It defines the architecture and gives you your baseline defenses. It's the essential but totally static part of your security plan.
Okay, so we've built our walls. But what good are high, thick walls if someone inside just opens the gate for the bad guys? And that brings us to the second pillar, awareness. This isn't about the walls anymore. This is about training the guards who patrol them.
See, this is all about the people. Awareness isn't about memorizing rules from a handbook. It's about actually changing behavior. It's about building a culture where every single person in the organization thinks with a security-first mindset. They become vigilant, they're skeptical, and they feel empowered to be a defender.
And a good awareness program is never a one-and-done kind of thing. It has to be active and continuous. We're talking about regular training, phishing simulations to keep people on their toes, and super clear communication about policies. And, of course, it has to be constantly updated, because the threats out there are changing every single day.
When you get this right, you create something incredibly powerful, a human firewall. And that's the ultimate goal here. You turn what is often your biggest vulnerability, your people, into your most dynamic and intelligent line of defense. A sharp, aware employee can spot a really sophisticated scam that even the best, most expensive software might miss completely.
Which brings us right to the core question, doesn't it? What actually happens if you have one without the other? What good are impenetrable walls if the guards are asleep at their post? Or worse, they get tricked into helping the invaders?
Let's just look at them side by side. It makes it crystal clear. Over on the left, compliance, our walls. The objective is to meet external requirements. It's driven by laws and measured by passing audits. Now look to the right, awareness, our guards. The objective here is to influence human behavior. It's driven by your own internal risk management, and it's measured by seeing fewer incidents. It's about making people smarter, not just checking a box.
And this right here is the biggest trap. Relying only on compliance creates this dangerous false sense of security. You get what's called a checkbox mentality. You pass the audit, you hang the certificate on the wall, and you think, great, we're safe. But in reality, your fortress is just a hollow shell, waiting for someone to make one simple mistake. So obviously, the solution isn't to pick one or the other. It's to forge them together. It's about building that integrated fortress where your strong walls are defended by sharp, well-trained, and vigilant guards.
And if you need just one more piece of proof that compliance by itself is not enough, just look at this number, 82%. This is a stat from organizations that really thought they were doing everything by the book.
That's right, 82% of companies that were fully compliant still got breached. I mean, let that sink in. They had the walls, they passed the audits, but the guards weren't ready.
This one statistic, all by itself, proves that without awareness, compliance is just an expensive piece of paper.
So how do we actually build this integrated fortress? Well, first, you have to treat compliance as the floor, not the ceiling. It's the bare minimum, not the end goal. Then you align your training to actually bring those compliance policies to life for your people. And this has to be driven from the top. Leadership has to champion both the rules and the vigilance. And finally, you create feedback loops. You use what you learned from phishing tests to make your technical controls better, and use your compliance rules to inform your training. They feed each other.
At the end of the day, it really is this simple. Compliance is the shield. It's a critical piece of armor. But awareness, that's the skill, the training to actually use that shield effectively. You can't have one without the other.
And that leaves us with one final, and I think crucial question you should be asking yourself. When you look at your own organization, your own team, is your security just a checklist of things to get done? Or are you actively, intentionally building a security culture where every single person knows they're a defender? Because the answer to that question is everything. It's the difference between being secure on paper and actually being secure in reality.